One person who was a leadership candidate once himself, but whose career has had some interesting turns since, is Ed Balls. One-time sidekick to Gordon Brown, then a job in the cabinet, shadow chancellor. He's been around and he is here. Very good evening to you. Thank you for coming in.
Good to be here.
How bad is it that Corbyn is going to win the Labour Party, do you think?
I think the country needs a strong opposition which can be a credible party of government. And at the moment, the verdict of the voters is that the Labour Party is not a credible party of government. I'm afraid Jeremy Corbyn has brought in new members. He may be going to win a leadership election amongst the new members and the members of the Labour Party. But the issue is, what does the country say? And, you know, if Jeremy had succeeded in a great boost in the opinion polls, that would be different. But I'm afraid at the moment, the verdict of people in marginal seats is they don't feel that Labour at the moment is speaking for them. And until that changes, then I'm afraid Labour is going to be a party of opposition. And that's not good enough. We should be a party of government.
What do you think went wrong with the Owen Smith campaign? Why has he... Is it about him, the candidate? Is it about the pitch? What's happened there?
Well, clearly, the membership of the Labour Party has changed very substantially over the last year and a half. Jeremy Corbyn is clearly speaking for, in touch with, the members of the Labour Party, it seems, because they are voting for him in large numbers. Owen was the guy who was almost the outsider challenging the incumbent. The problem is that in a democracy, it's not the members of the party who elect the government, it's the voters. And I don't remember a time where the Labour Party membership and its views had become so disconnected from where the marginal seat, the swing voter, the centre-left voter is. On issue after issue, things have pulled apart. So, to be fair to Jeremy, if he wins, he's winning because he's speaking for the members.
For the members.
But that's not where the country is.
The failure, and you're part of this, and New Labour's part of this, the failure isn't that your side, if you like, Owen Smith and your clan, have not managed to grip 500,000 people in the same way that Jeremy Corbyn did. And that's really where it's all gone wrong, isn't it? That Jeremy Corbyn has mobilised and enthused a lot of people, and for some reason the other wing of the party just can't. What's wrong with that? What's happened there?
In this world where numbers have been recruited and the membership's grown, the only answer in the end for the centrist, mainstream, centre-left of the Labour Party is to do the same. But in the end, I know from general elections, I know from how you win, that you have to have a compelling vision which people think reflects their view of the world. Now, Jeremy clearly has a compelling vision which reflects the members' views. And I'm afraid in this election, Owen, I think understanding the members, has been saying, well, I sort of share your views, but I'm just not Jeremy. I don't think in the end that's going to work. Labour's going to have to say, we're actually, or the PLP, the mainstream Labour MP, is going to have to say, we have a view of the world which is not the same as the Conservatives, is not the same as New Labour, but is also not the same as Jeremy Corbyn.
So he didn't define himself differently enough and didn't basically become centrist enough.
I think it was very difficult for Owen when you had such a short campaign to do that, and I think he chose not to do that, and chose to be, as close to Jeremy as he could be. That's not going to work. That isn't the way back to power for Labour.
Look back to when Labour was in power, because somehow, at some point, now as you look back on it, it looks as though there was a bit of a wedge between traditional Labour voters and the New Labour project. And they've clearly drifted. A lot of them have gone off to UKIP, some have gone off to Corbyn, who's not New Labour at all, and some have stuck with Labour, but not enough. What is there a sort of a single thing that is it about the immigration, the polls in 2004, 2005, when we had unrestricted immigration and no one else in Europe did? Is it about the crash? What do you think were the one or two things were that led to that disenchantment?
I don't think it's one thing, and I think in some ways the problem started earlier than that. If you go to 1997, Labour said we can run the economy competently, we can be tough with the public finances, and we can invest in the schools and the hospitals, we can reverse the unfairness of the Tory years. I think from 97 to 2001, that was compelling. After 2001, you had a weak Conservative leader. Labour turned on itself. We started to be defined by arguments about whether we were going to privatise the NHS or not, which was completely out of touch with where the country was and where the members were. It started earlier. On top of that, you then have a global financial crisis, which we didn't see and manage. You had the globalisation of labour, which has been a huge problem for communities up and down the country.
So it's China, basically, in a way, the kind of industry moving to China over that period.
Well, I think actually we thought in 2001 globalisation would be about companies moving to China. What we never saw was that globalisation would actually be people moving from Poland and the Czech Republic to work in Britain. And I don't think in our country, in France, in Germany, in America, politics has coped with either that global financial crisis or the mobility of labour, or the squeeze on median incomes at a time when incomes at the top have been rising so fast. All those things meant that the centrist centre ground, which said we can grip this and manage it, people said, well, you're not doing so well, why has it not really worked? In those circumstances, populism takes over, whether it's Donald Trump or Marine Le Pen or Jeremy Corbyn. The simple solution at the extreme is easier to communicate to, in a protesting way. It's not a manifesto for government.
Ed Balls, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.